We got the latest on Al Horford to Golden State to discuss on today's show. But before we get into all that, we have a goal to reach this month. I was on vacation. I was slacking a little bit. So my boss has said, Tyler, you got to get to 97,500 subs before the month ends. And we are a sturdy 401 away. So can we get 400 diehard Warriors fans to go down below and hit that big red sub button for free Warriors content every single day? What's going on, Dub Nation? You're watching Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Tyler Smith, and we have a new update from an NBA insider regarding the free agency saga around Al Horford, a name that has been linked to the Golden State Warriors since the free agency period began way back at the end of June a couple weeks ago, but he remains unsigned to this point, and coincidentally, the Golden State Warriors have yet to make a signing of any kind at this point, aside from their second-round draft selections. But this came in from Mark Spears as we still await the Al Horford free agency decision. Golden State expected to sign him last week. Expected him to sign last week. Expected him to come to that decision already, but he didn't. And then mentions the Lakers, Milwaukee, and Atlanta, I believe, are also interested in this 40-year-old guy who also has retirement on the table. He's still considering retiring. He's not in any hurry. You know who I think is going to be in this decision? His 10-year-old son. Now, before we get into, kind of the details, kind of go into the quote and read between the lines a little bit, I don't love the way that this is trended for Golden State. And look, I do think that it's going to come down to either signing with the Dubs or just retiring, because you got to think about the pros and the cons of each, right? Like, if he's playing in Golden State, he's got a huge opportunity. He's playing with NBA legends and a chance at least to compete for a Western Conference title next season. And if he retires, well, he could be with his family, which we know, or at least Celtics fans and fans of Al Horford throughout his career know, that he is a well-documented family man. Like, he is a father of 5. Like, he's turning 40 years old, and his son's oftentimes seen in the Celtics locker room. Like, he is a family man. And, now his kids are getting to the point where they are entering school age and all that stuff. And, like, look, I can see where Al Horford's coming from here looking at the retirement side of things. Like, I would want to be there if I'm sitting there resting on $200 million and an NBA championship a little over a year ago, and then my kids start entering school, and I'd love to be a part of that and be, follow their journeys with them growing up. Like, I would totally get Al Horford wanting to retire here, but then, like, I'm just thinking about it from a basketball standpoint. He still has a good amount of game left and a lot to offer, especially for a Golden State team that needs his services, right? Can defend on the inside, can stretch the floor, and is a veteran leader. It could be a mentor to a guy like Quinten Post that we'll talk about in just a little bit. But can the Dubs afford to wait on Al Horford at this point? They have yet to make a free agency move, and I know Warriors fans are getting very, very antsy as the days go on, and Mike Dunleavy and the Dubs front office have yet to bring anybody in this offseason. We know the Warriors have to improve. So can they wait on this Al Horford decision? Well, Adam Taylor, who contributes to Warriors Wire, Celtics Wire, funny enough, these two teams kind of being linked in this scenario here, but he said this: Golden State can't risk missing out on the other potential additions while they wait on Al Horford's decision. As such, the Warriors could be wise to set a deadline for Horford's decision, and if nothing materializes, they should begin casting a wider net. Look, I'll say this about the whole Al Horford scenario. Like, I think that they're going to be in a situation where they need Al Horford more than they need anybody else that they could go out there on the free agency market. Like, they aren't missing out on much if they, like, the needle isn't moving the way that an Al Horford signing would if they missed out on him and they had to, settle with one of the other remaining free agents out there, because the crop is not good right now. I was looking through the best remaining free agents as we're over 2 weeks into the free agency period now in 2025, and these aren't the most inspiring names. Some of them have been linked to the Warriors previously, like a Trey Lyles, but Precious Achiuwa's out there. He's still fairly young, high motor player. He can honestly give you a little bit more than maybe I expected him to offensively. Like, he's a little bit more skilled than people think. Chris Boucher, like, he had one of the better seasons of his career, but he's turning 33 years old. Thomas Bryant, he just played in the playoff in the NBA Finals against OKC, but really couldn't stay on the floor all too much. He makes a lot of mistakes. And then DeAndre Jordan. I don't really have much to say about DeAndre Jordan at this point in his career, but in a good morale guy, just not really a reliable center. And are any of these guys really a reliable center for Golden State. Like, they have Draymond Green, who could still play a pretty high minutes load at this point in his career, and they can manage small ball like a Jimmy at the 4, like even a Moses Moody playing a small ball 4 in some scenarios. But are any of these guys like centers that you can rely upon in an NBA rotation in 2025? I don't really think so, to be quite honest. So like, this is where I land with it all. If the Warriors miss out on Al Horford, they're doomed regardless. Like, they're cooked. Like, they lost that on Kevon Looney, where he also mentioned that he thought that there was a loss of trust between the Warriors and him. Maybe we'll talk about that in another video. But for right now, they lose Kevon Looney, and all they have coming back is Trace Jackson-Davis and Quinten Post. So the free agency crop isn't very good as far as relying on one of those guys that we just talked about to play 25, 30 minutes for your basketball team. Al Horford is the only player remaining on the free agency circuit that I would feel confident in that being the case. So if you don't get Al Horford, then that puts a ton more on Quinten Post's plate next season. Now, he came into the league last year as a late second-round pick. Not really many expectations put on his shoulders. Now, coming into year 2, especially if the Warriors miss out on Al Horford, he's immediately thrust into being the best center and the most skilled center on the Warriors roster. So he's going to be playing 25 minutes a night plus consistently throughout 82 games. And there's going to be lumps with all that. He's going to, go through the sophomore slump during at least a period of the season. But, he does provide a sense of floor space that the Warriors just don't have, especially when you factored in them losing Kevon Looney. Well, the front office probably didn't bring him back for a reason, especially when you consider that Draymond's not an excellent floor spacer, neither is Jimmy. When you have all three of those guys out there on the court, kind of reminiscent of Jonathan Kuminga, things don't go so well for Golden State, and teams can kind of sell out on Curry on the perimeter. Quinten Post kind of helps that and spaces the floor a little bit. You would love Al Horford, though, to come in and alleviate a little bit of year 2 pressure off of him, and honestly act as a mentor and only help his game develop even more. But if you guys want Al Horford to sign like soon, because it's getting a little bit late right now, or I'm getting a little bit nervous at this point, go down below and make it happen for me. Send the good vibes and like today's video. Smash that thumbs up icon if you want the Dubs to sign Al Horford ASAP. All right, so before we get into anything else on today's show, I want to mention that I'm not that concerned about the timing of everything. I am concerned with the fact that he's still mulling retirement, and now more teams are kind of like envisioning themselves being in a spot where they can go out and sign Al Horford, like in Atlanta where he played previously, Los Angeles, who still needs center depth behind DeAndre Ayton. Like, there are opportunities where like another team could swoop in, but I'm not that concerned about the whole timing of the situation, especially from Golden State's point of view, because they still have a roadblock of their own that they need to overcome before an Al Horford signing can realistically go down for them. Brett Siegel mentioning this on his free agency kind of weekend wrap-up that came out on Sunday. He said, until Kuminga's situation is figured out, the Warriors can't make any other moves since his contract will push them close to that first apron. As of right now, the Warriors are $25 million below this mark. So that honestly kind of begs the question, like, do you maybe let Jonathan Kuminga walk? Well, you can kind of ponder that idea, but Joe Lacob's never going to do that. So we'll kind of ex-nay that for now until we get to a fantasy dream offseason update type of video here in the near future. But after the Jonathan Kuminga resolution is found, whether he is sent away in a sign and trade, which I think he's more and more unlikely as the days go on, or he is re-signed by Golden State on a long-term deal that they end up wanting to trade down the line, like, the floodgates will open in the Warriors free agency market once the Jonathan Kuminga thing is settled. And like I said, all signs right now point to Kuminga re-signing with Golden State. I said my piece really about that yesterday. The comment section obviously didn't love it. I know how you guys feel about Kuminga. We can agree to disagree. I don't think he fits on Golden State. I think that bringing him back would only create more awkwardness and less continuity when the Golden State needs it more than ever. So he's likely to re-sign, but once he does, we could see the guys like Al Horford, D'Anthony Melton, maybe even a Josh Okogie, a guy who got released by the Charlotte Hornets earlier, maybe a Seth Curry, a Ben Simmons, some of the other players on the free agency market available right now will sign with Golden State on some cheap deals once the Kuminga stuff is sorted out. Now, next, before we wrap up today's show, Steph commented while he was at a celebrity golf tournament over the weekend on Golden State's title chances and a big question that has loomed over the Dubs over the past couple of seasons. We'll get to Steph's comments in just a moment, but first, make sure you guys get hooked up with this awesome deal with our friends over at Fanatics. Look, I know the Warriors didn't win the NBA Finals, but like, I love collecting playoff shirts, and this one is going for the low. It is now $18, completely half off, and the Warriors had a solid run this season, man. Like, you cannot go back and shake your head at what they did, especially after making the Jimmy Butler trade. So go get this commemorative 2025 playoff shirt today at this link below, chatsports.com/win4bay. I put that link in the comment section and description of today's video as well. It's on discount, half off. Go get your Golden State Warriors playoff shirt down below with that link today. All right, this is the question that has long loomed over the Golden State Warriors, especially over these last few years, that they've kind of underwhelmed in the standings and in the postseason, and Steph gets closer and closer to the retirement age. We'll see how long he actually plays in his career. But are the Warriors too old to win the NBA title? Well, I think that there are more issues with the Golden State Warriors roster other than age. But Steph answered this question kind of candidly during the celebrity golf tournament that he was in attendance for over the weekend. Honestly, shot pretty well, too. I think he was the highest, lowest shooting, I should say, NBA player. He said, we've heard it even before the 2022 championship. We heard it. So to the point that it's like it all comes down to health. I mean, if you look at every team, Oklahoma City had a relatively healthy run, and that's what you need. Like, vets get through a regular season. Try to be in a position where we're not chasing anything down the stretch. And he's long said that. He's long had that sentiment that they don't want to be chasing anything. They don't want to be sprinting to the postseason like they were after the Butler trade, where they were hovering around 500, even dipping below that mark before dealing for Butler. So they don't want to be in that position. And look, I'll say this. I never will doubt Wardell, Stephen Curry, man. Like, he's done things that nobody else has done in this league. Like, one at a level and an age that nobody else has really done as the number one option, as a small scoring point guard. Like, I'll never doubt what this guy can do. And I still am confident that he can make a deep playoff run at this stage in his career alongside Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. I just think there are more issues with this roster than age. Like, we saw Steph play at a super high level. We saw Jimmy turn it up towards the end of the regular season and into the playoffs as well. Draymond was still playing good, but you get your things with Draymond night in and night out. The thing is with Golden State's roster, like, I worry about the young talent and developing those guys, and how good are really Brandon Pajemski, Moses Moody, like some of these young players, Quinten Post even, like how good are some of these players that Golden State has tried to develop over the past few seasons. And then I worry about continuity and chemistry with the Jonathan Kuminga re-signing. Like, I worry that Golden State will not be playing with the unit that will be playing in the postseason in October, November, December. And who knows what the Kuminga trade market will look like next season based on the production that he gives you and based on the fit that he has within the Warriors offense and based on the leash that Steve Kerr has him on and how often he's playing him with the superstars that don't really space the floor all that well on the roster. So I worry about those things with Kuminga re-signing, and I worry about the, obviously Golden State's young talent being what they're all talked up to be by ownership and the front office. So I think Golden State is fine as far as their superstars go, but can they win a championship as currently constructed? Because it doesn't look like they're bringing in any more big-time needle movers. They're going to need their young guys and these marginal free agent additions to get them over the hump. Can the Warriors win another championship with Steph leading the way? Yes or no? You let me know down in the comment section. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That will do it for today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports. YouTube.com/Warriors TV for free, informative, entertaining Warriors content all offseason long. We'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, let's go Dubs.